Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. We are going to continue our exploration, except now we are simplifying it to one single Chinese character a day. I hope it can help to connect you to this ancient language. Today we talk about all, this concept of all. In English, this ALL spelling is simple and is one of the most commonly used English English word. But in Chinese, it looks, you see the visual of it, it looks pretty complicated, right? It's many strokes and it sounds like a ju. I wonder if you can pronounce it. But this ju character came from the person symbol that looks like this. And also two-hand, three-finger, two-hand symbol from the bottom of the screen going up. And then here on the top, that character was confusing because that character also sometimes used as eyeball symbol because it's oval shape with kind of a horizontalized two lines to show the eyeball. But over here, it doesn't make sense to have both hands reaching out towards somebody's eyeball, right? It doesn't make sense. So actually in Chinese characters, occasionally same looking icon came from different sources, and it actually means totally different things. They could just look similar, and then the language itself didn't provide a differentiator between the two yet. And so it's characters developed or evolved on their own, and then it converge on how they look eventually. So over here is not an eyeball, it's actually a cookware. And a cookware normally written on like the cookware stand on something, like I have a stove or something to prop it so it's not directly on the ground, right? But eventually that stand or frame of this stove thing got omitted, and then only the container part of it stayed. And the two horizontal lines, I would imagine that could mean it's a decorated side along the cookware because ancient times the bronze casting vessel got decorations along the side. So that's probably one of the earlier utensil making. Is pretty elaborate. And it passed down through generations because it's metal pieces. So that's what people see and they use, and eventually immortalized in language into this shape that they share the similar look as eyeball, which was originally horizontal length because our eyeballs are wider than higher, right? In these two dimensions, but you see the Chinese kind of verticalize the eyeball because that's for the economy of space, horizontal space. Because my theory is horizontal space in Chinese character laying out is more expensive than vertical space because most of the time we combine different characters. This assembly process goes side by side, like left and right, side by side, more often than up and down, top and bottom structure. So this side by side means things need to squeeze in horizontally. So horizontal economy is more like a higher priority. So the eyeball eventually got verticalized. So it looks like this, and then converge to the image of this ancient bronze casting cookware. So over here in the context with the two three-finger hands, then that means it is something that you need to handle, right? You cannot poke somebody's eyeball. So that that give us the context of where it shows of this icon, and therefore we can deduce this is cookware, it's not eyeball. So the left and right, if you look at this structure, the right, the cookware with two hands at the bottom, it means feast because it's a food preparation and then food serving process roll up in one. Because there was no fire icon shown under to show the cooking. So it's probably more like a food cooked already and ready to serve. So that's what I translate as feasting. So that's the moment when the family gather and share food together. And so this is like a both hand holding the cookware, serving, ready to serve on the table. Well, or whatever furniture back then. It's not necessarily on the table. And here is a human figure that we see a lot reoccurring in Chinese characters, because most of the activities, I mean, many of the activities or characters is describing are human activities. So here it made it obvious, like this feasting or this cookware, holding by two hands, serving process is related to human feasting. So what does it mean? Why human feasting? That's Zhu, this character, eventually carry the meaning of all and complete. You see here, all complete entirely or without exception. So without exception simply is another way to say all or complete, right? And all and complete probably, let's see, complete could be process complete or like a component assembly complete, right? And all could mean like you have many different resources and then all of them are there. So in a way, it is complete as well. But in English, there's distinction between all and complete, right? Use like a pairing with other words in different contexts. So it's more appropriate to use one rather than the other. But here it's not about English, it's about Chinese. So I'm cropping this Google Translate of this Zhu character to show you that even if in English, there are different corresponding English translations of the same Chinese characters, but if we go deeper to the underneath layer of the semantic meaning of this character, at least in the Chinese sense, all of these translations are kind of in English as well, like they're the kind of share the same quality or meaning, only that they would corresponding to different English words to go with different sentences or contexts. So here, 句, human feast. I would imagine, here is my imagination, because I cannot, I wasn't somebody who transports through time to understand their particular lifestyle back then, but I would imagine, especially in Chinese culture, eating, dining, is high priority activity for people back then, because eating is essential to survival. And it's not like in our contemporary age, it's a consumer society, and we have good systems set up already. So humans, as long as you have something to provide in exchange for food, so food security was not that of a big issue in contemporary life, versus in the past, you may not be guaranteed to have food. So dining, when you do have food, being ready to serve, and that's the moment of when the whole family in a household are going to gather around the food. So this food sharing process, like dining together, of course, this is English speaking country. I would say like a poster image of dining, family gathering, and that captured the sense. This is contemporary way of dining, right? But in ancient China, dining, I would imagine, is not as, beautified as shown in this picture, but dining was essential for survival. Therefore, dining is the moment when you would expect people gather. So it could be, within your household or within your tribe or community, but in any case, at whatever scale the dining event is, it is a big event. And this is the moment when all the people in your tribe or community gather. And that is the moment that probably almost like automatically you don't have to call for people gather, because food is the rally call for people to gather. And this food serving, humans food serving moment eventually was used to mean gathering, to mean all the heads in this tribe or community or household are going to be here. You can count on that. Everybody is going to show up because it's food time, right? Okay, so that's 句. Catching into the currency of thinking about one word a day with Sophie. See you another day.